This episode of Warp Factor 10 is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hey everyone, welcome into the Warp Factor 10 show that we do here on Patreon. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly of Burlyman Gaming. Burly, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. We've got 2 episodes to talk about today for Picard.
Oh, yes. Two episodes of Star Trek Picard. So just a little warning before we start going into it. Both of these episode reactions are going to be spoiler filled. So if you have not watched episode 4 or 5 of Star Trek Picard, please go watch those episodes before you watch our video. Okay, so this is your warning now. We're going to be doing spoilers galore throughout this episode as we give our reactions to episode 4 and 5 of Star Trek Picard. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and jump into it here. So so season 2, episode 4 and episode 5. So Burly,
I was gonna say, I just love the Borg Queen's face that you got there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. We were talking about this before we started. I mean, Annie Wersching, she's a great actress, and I mean, and the Borg Queen right now, she's my favorite character in this whole series.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Especially the last 3 episodes, what they've done with her and allowed her to do.
Yeah,
it has just been amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're gonna start with episode 4. So let's start with the bus scene. I mean, this was so great of a scene. I mean, because a lot of season 2, from what everybody's talking about, is it has a lot of backstory to I wouldn't say backstory, but kind of like it feeds off of Star Trek for the Voyage Home, because it had the same concept of the Enterprise going back in time. And so, of course, in Picard season 2, they have to go back in time to, right the wrongs of, the timeline, so to speak. And, in Star Trek for the Voyage Home, of course, we had a punk on a bus. And, of course, Spock, after Kirk asking him a bunch of times to turn down the music, the guy flips him off. And so Spock gives him the Vulcan pinch, the neck pinch, and he, knocks him out and everything. Yeah. And what was really cool about this is the same actor. So Kirk Thatcher.
Is it really the same actor? I thought it was
similar,
but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, it's Kirk Thatcher. Yes, from Star Trek for the Voyage Home. Yes, so the same exact actor, and but this time he acts a little bit differently when Seven asks him to turn down the volume. What did you think of that, Burly? I thought that was.
I thought that was just friggin' hilarious, because I'm like, as soon as I saw the scene start up, I'm like, okay, this is we're making homage to Star Trek 4,
right?
And I love this. That he's just like, okay, he turns it down. He's just like, feels like a bitter, defeated man. It's like, I just like this song, man.
Yeah. It was so great. Yeah, it was so great. And it's like, as soon as I saw him, I knew it was Kirk Thatcher. I was like, oh man, it's the same character. It's the same guy. Yeah. So I'm glad that they were able to get him for this. And to do
He
it. It
was
was so
he
cool.
was waiting for this call for so long.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I mean, they were on the bus and they were going off to catch the bus that I guess, or to find the area where Rios was and all. But yeah. Okay, so next is the meeting with Gainan. So of course, Picard goes to Gainan's 10 forward, and of course, this is the 21st century version of Gainan. And yeah, I was really surprised that they didn't try to CG Whoopi Goldberg for this, but obviously they probably didn't have the budget to do that. So they got this younger actress to play her, and she did a really good job. And of course, she has the shotgun there on the table. So obviously, she thinks Picard is full of crap at first, but then, when he mentions about her being an Ilorian, that spruced things up a bit. What did you think of this, Burley? And what did you think of the initial meeting between Picard and Gainan?
I really enjoyed this meeting. And I love it. Like she's like just basically she's trying everything just to get him out of the bar, and he's just trying to find ways to talk to her, but without hinting at anything.
Yeah.
And then it's only when he says what she is, and Lorian, that she's like, and then she grabs that gun. She's like, because no one here has ever called her that. And then I love it with her dog. She's thinking the dog will scare him off, but the dog is so calm with him.
Right.
She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, she eventually, helps him out and all and everything. And, I really liked the dialogue between the two of them. I thought that was really cool. Okay. So next up, let's go to, all right. Of course, Rios, he's in the detention area there. And of course, he has more of a conversation with the doctor from that clinic that he was arrested in and all. And it's funny how she gets to go because they found out who she was and that she's actually a citizen, I think it was. And but they couldn't find anything on Rios. Go figure. So yeah. So what did you think of this part, Burley? I thought this was pretty interesting, and then the dialogue between Rios and the detention officer, where he actually spills the entire beans about who he is. Of course, I'm from the 25th century. I'm a captain on a starship. Blah 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 blah. So what did you think, man?
I love that scene, especially when he's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna tell you everything. You want to know? You really want to know? Fine, I'll tell you." And the guy that's hearing him say this, he's like, this is just like a nut. The other nuts I see on the street."
Right.
That's like basically what he's doing. But I did like this detention center, and I did like that him and the doctor did get another scene to just kind of chat with each other.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to help out more, because as you were talking about the homage to Star Trek 4, of course, in Star Trek 4, the oceanographer, the woman that was studying whales that became the interest of Kirk, and she actually goes to the future with them. I wonder if this woman is going to end up in the same type of situation with Rios, and where there's some kind of chemistry between them, and then she gets caught up to where, of course, they take her back to the future with them. Who knows?
I have a feeling they'll bring her into the future. I have a feeling, like, who knows for sure, but like I do get the same kind of vibes like the oceanographer, as you were saying.
Yeah. And of course,
the star of the show.
The star of the show, and of course, she gets some information stolen from her, obviously, and she's pretty pissed. She's pretty angry in a certain type of way, though. She's like, "You impressed me," So with Dr. Girardi, and because Girardi pulled a fast one on her, basically was able to get the coordinates and the location of the bus to where Rios was in the detention bus, I should say, and getting the location as well of the Watcher. so to speak. So what did you think of this part, Burly? Yeah, it's like she looked pretty angry at first, but she's like, you impressed me.
Yeah, she was very angry, but I love just her dialogue. She's trying everything because she knows stuff was stolen from her. Just trying to get anything to be like, just to get under her Agnes' skin there, and just get under there just to get a bit in.
Yeah, I mean, she knows that Agnes is a lonely person. I mean, when that's the thing, when they linked, you know, when Girardi was playing with that information to get it, the Borg Queen was also playing with her, I think, as well, and getting to figure out her feelings and who she is and her vulnerabilities, especially being a lonely person, you know, and that's going to play on, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a little bit, but yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. And then, of course, towards the end of the episode, the Watcher, of course, and this is so interesting that it's you know, the spitting image of the Romulan worker at Picard's vineyard, you know, that had feelings for Picard. You know, it's basically the same person almost, you know, but with a different name and all. Yeah, what'd you think of this, Burley? This was like at the very end of the episode, though, but still.
I did like this because I was gonna say, like, are we gonna see this character, see this actress again? Because we see her in the first episode and see like shots of her in this second episode because Picard's looking for her. Yeah, but it's nice to see her bring back.
Yeah, so yeah, she's a spitting image of Laris from the early 25th century at Picard's vineyard, but now her name is Talon. So
I'm sure she's her long ancestor.
Who knows? Yeah, and yeah. Speaking of long lost or long ago ancestors, our next picture here, of course, is at the very end of the episode, and of course, this you know, blonde-haired woman here, she's looking at reading a book, and what's interesting about this book is it's a Dixon Hill book. And of course, in Star Trek: The Next Generation, of course, Picard sometimes would venture into the holodeck and portray the character of Dixon Hill, you know, kind of like the spy, you know, type of novel. You know, like you know, like the late 30s type of you know, character. But anyway, Q's there, and he's trying to snap her out of existence, but doesn't work out very well for him, does it, Burley?
No, I love that he snaps and he's like, oh god, he's like, this is not good. So Q is losing his powers. Let's see, and this is an interesting kind of plot point because it's like, where do you go with this? Right. So now Q is losing his powers. Is this part of the reason why he's doing it? Like, he sensed that he's losing his powers, and he's wanting something to happen, like maybe them fixing this timeline stuff he does, recharge Q up. Who knows? Because we of the species of Q we know very little.
Right. Yep. And that's where episode 4 ends, and so we move on to episode 5. And what's really interesting here is we get in the beginning of the episode, of course, Picard discussing with the Watcher his long past relative. Her name is, of course, Renee Picard, and of course, in the first episode of the season, Picard, when he was speaking to the Academy members, he was talking about Renee Picard and like her being one of the first Picards to you know, explore the solar system. And of course, Renee Picard is in training for that at this moment, and she's starting to have second thoughts about whether or not to go on this mission or not. And in this scene here, you know, Picard is talking to the Watcher, and the Watcher is basically, she's been watching Renee for a long time, I guess. And it looks like she's having second thoughts. And then Picard asks her to, because he could hear the voice of the kind of the psychologist talking to her. And it's like, he says to the Watcher, you know, reverse the angle on that, you know, on the video. And then it shows it's Q there. It's Q sitting there trying to talk her out of going on this mission. So what did you think of this, Burley?
I really did enjoy that, and I love that because like as soon as Picard sees Q, he's like, "God damn it! I
Yeah,
can't."
yeah.
I can't. He's like, "No matter where I go, this guy's just coming back." And
Yeah.
now he's messing with my ancestors. Oh, it's Q.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and then next up, of course, we have Renee in her training pod here, and of course, as what Picard says, is she's the first one to go on I think it's the Europa mission, and she supposedly found some kind of, she finds a microorganism or something there on the trip and wants to bring it back to Earth. I guess in that sense, it would show humans that we're not alone in the universe as being the only life forms. But anyway, she's in this pod, and I think one of the training exercises went pretty awry, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why she's kind of, her confidence is shot, and she's thinking about not going on the mission and everything. But yeah, so yeah, and then of course, good old Brent Spiner coming back, and Q, of course, up to his old tricks, and this is one of the things I don't like about this season, and about Star Trek as a whole, in a sense, Burley. The Sung family, the family that designed Data, and of course who designed Soji from, of course, the first season of Picard. Every single Sung looks like Brent Spiner.
Yeah, like
I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, like 5 or 6 or to 10 generations of Sungs, they're the same person.
Well, it's the same thing with the Alien movies. The androids all look like it's all Lance Hendricks Bishop. They all like,
Yeah,
yeah, because you do the one past Alien film. I think it's like in Aliens versus Predator, and it's the same guy.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, I hate that trope. It's just a stupid, like, come on.
Yeah, and of course, and then this version of Soji, of course, she's of course a human, and she's got genetic defects where she can't go outdoors, and she can't breathe the air and everything. And it's funny, it's like when you look at Sung's house, it looks like the Tholian web from the original Star Trek series. It's like hovering across, above the swimming pool and above the estate there, but it is like a thermal radiative, protective shield. And it's what I couldn't understand about this is, in the 21st century, they didn't have that kind of technology yet, to protect her from all of that, So that was kind of a, something I was nitpicking about the episode.
Oh yeah.
But then of course Q up to his old tricks, and manipulating Sung, saying that he can give her a cure. And that was pretty cool, where he's like, he texts on the computer screen. He's like, check your 3D printer. That was pretty cool. And then he like goes and he finds like the card there with the Q on it. And then he goes in this image here, you can see he goes to meet Q, and then Q basically gives him a kind of a vial, which is supposedly a cure. And it's like, I help you and you help me with my problems, And then of course he goes to, and he gives the vial to his daughter, and she injects herself with it, and it seems like she's cured and all. And of course he turns off the shields and everything seems to be all happy. And then about like 2 minutes later, she starts to convulse and falls on the ground. She's about to die. So the vial of that serum that Q had given him was kind of had a kill clock on it. So basically it's like, okay, here's just a sample. So I have more, and I have the real stuff that can really cure, but you have to help me with my problem. So what did you think of that, man?
I thought it was a very interesting plot point, because it's like, out of everyone, you want this gene scientist to help you, Q.
Yeah.
So they're making it think like he's going to want this guy to try and cure and fix Q.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm kind of thinking they're going to go with it. But I do like that he's just like, I love it when he realizes the vial wasn't that it was just a temp fix. And he goes to him, he says, okay, you want to give me the real cure? He's like, I have no reason not to work and help you. You have the one thing that I want.
Right.
And I love that. And I love when he meets Q and he's like, don't waste my time. I hate people wasting my time and all this. And Q's like, well, you drove over an hour to eat here. You're going to be sitting here in 17 seconds. You want to know how I can tell? You drove all this hour. I have this information, and says just a few keywords. And Brett Spider's just like, God damn it, I just want to walk away, but this guy might have the one answer, so I can't just storm off.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how he, helps out Q in the next episode. But let's go ahead and move on. So next up, of course, Rios in the bus. And of course, the bus gets intercepted, of course, by, Rafi and Seven. And they, of course, are able to, stop the bus. And, of course, Rios and some of the other detainees were able to overpower the security guard guy there that was given, Rios a hard time, captain, earlier. And so now he's out. But it's interesting how Rafi, when one of the detainees was coming off the bus, she looked at him and she saw, the Romulan kid that had died in episode 2. And but then of course she kind of blinked, and then it was, just the detainee again. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But I loved how, the detainee kind of overpowered the security guard. So what'd you think of this part?
I like this little rescue, and I like the stuff leading up to the rescue of them breaking into the police car and all that, and getting the information and driving the car. Her and 7 and 9. That was just a great scene.
Yeah.
And then just him freeing him. I'm wondering, because as you said, that split 2 seconds, if you blink, you miss it, kind of thing, of her seeing the dead Romulan. I wonder how much Elnor. That's it. I'm blanking on the name. How much we're going to get little things of Elnor throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, we'll see. But I assume that he'll probably be coming back at the end if they are able to fix the timeline and all. But we shall see. Okay, next up, dun dun dun. Of course, So I mean, of course, before this, the Borg Queen is up to her antics, and of course, she's changing her voice and making Picard's voice and of course Rios's voice to break into the system to activate the telephone system, and then she calls a French police officer to come to the compound, and of course the police officer runs into the Borg Queen, and he's about to get assimilated by her, and then of course Agnes comes in with a shotgun from the chateau, and obviously the shotgun is loaded. You would think that a shotgun that's like on the wall, why would it be loaded? Of course, maybe because it was there during the Second World War, so maybe.
Oh, you never know. You need that gun quick.
Protecting the chateau against the Germans, or something. Who knows? But
or the Borg.
Yeah, not Nazis, but Borg. Yeah. So anyway, as she shoots the Borg Queen to release the police officer and all, but before the Borg Queen is about to die, she of course manipulates Agnes, because Agnes starts to feel the pain as well because of their previous link with each other. And then she starts to get closer and closer to the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen, I just love it how she's manipulating her. It's like, the two of us together, we could be so much more, and then, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like, Darth Sidious in the Star Wars movies, to Anakin, it's like, kind of, it's like the power, and it's and manipulating her because of her loneliness and her feelings of depression and all, it's like, we could be together, and then the final straw was, you need me to get home, because if I die and you don't do anything, there's no way I can teleport us back to the regular timeline or to, back home. And then that was like the final straw. And then Agnes was, okay, do it. She kind of knew that she was going to assimilate her there. And, but what's interesting about this, Burly, is that she didn't assimilate her into a drone, so to speak. So the nanoprobes that she injected into her, it was kind of like more of a consciousness type of nanoprobe, in the sense of she's not really a drone, but she just has the Borg Queen living inside of her now. What'd you think of this?
I really enjoyed this whole scene because I just love the person that is the actress that's playing the Borg Queen. She's killing it on this show.
Yeah.
I love it. She's like, either you're going to let me simulate this guy, or I'm going to simulate you. Yes. Either way, I am not being alone.
Right, and she's like, I want you. Yeah.
I want you. Yeah. You are my first choice, but I will take what I can get. And you know what loneliness is. She knows all those buttons to push. It's just like, it is just awesome.
Yeah, and of course, Alison Pill also, fellow Canadian Burly. Yeah, she's from Toronto. Yeah. So I mean, she's doing an amazing job in this. And I think one of the reasons why she's doing this, the Borg Queen, is to assimilate Agnes, is because Agnes is just a genius, especially with cybernetics. Oh, yeah. And I think she needs her to reassimilate the Borg Collective, because in this timeline, as we know, the Borg Collective has been decimated, and she's pretty much the only Borg left. And so to do that and to have Agnes now, that's a powerful thing. So I mean, the Borg Queen, man. Yeah. So we move on in the episode. Of course, there's this big party before the launch of the Europa mission, and we see, of course, Renee Picard here, and she's like downing some shots, maybe of whiskey or something like that. And of course, Picard and them, they have to infiltrate this party, so to speak, to be able to try to convince Renee to go on the mission. Yeah, and of course, Agnes's character, of course, goes in and all. But of course, at the very end, who do we see there with her? Her new consciousness, basically telling her, "Oh, what a great little idea, yeah, to get yourself caught." Because now she can, infiltrate the systems and, hopefully, I guess, in a sense, help them, or maybe not. We shall see. But that was at the end of the episode. So what do you think, Burly? Yeah.
I did enjoy that. I was like, why at first is she getting herself caught? I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You got to take a second and think, and then it's like, ah. Yeah. But I'm really interested to see how they're going to go with this, with the Borg Queen and her being as one.
Yeah.
This is going to be like the really interesting, and like once the rest of them find out and know,
yeah,
what are they going to do? Because they can't do it without the Borg Queen. They're going to need the Borg Queen help, but they don't want to lose their friend to the Borg Queen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, and the title of the next episode is 2 of 1. Ooh. So yeah, should be interesting. Yeah. 2 of 1. Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to make reference to her and the Borg Queen.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, it's and like we saw at the beginning of the season, when that Borg ship came through that that area of space there, and then of course the emissary came on board, to meet with Picard. I'm wondering if that was Agnes. We shall see. We'll probably find out at the end of the season, which of course it's 10 episodes, so we have another. We're just through the first half, so but it's been interesting so far. So looking forward to it. So that has been our reaction to Star Trek Picard episodes, season 2, episodes 4 and 5. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly of Burlyman Gaming. So also just a quick reminder, you can find this episode on Patreon. So you can come to our Patreon and check it out. It goes up in early access for the first 2 days. And then after that, it goes to the public, to our YouTube channel at the Arena Productions. But if you come and think about becoming a patron and supporting our content, you get everything in early access and ad free before anybody else can get a chance to watch it. So if you're interested, come and check out our Patreon. And this episode will be going up later tonight. So I want to thank you all for coming, and we hope to catch you in our next episode of Warp Factor 10, where we will be going over Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 6, which is going to be released on Paramount Plus later this week. So we're really excited for that. So we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
But prepare to be assimilated. The Borg were right.